So patient details, 18-year-old male student who is a resident of Greater Noida presented to our outpatient department with chief complaints of foreign body sensation and painless progressive red mass in his left eye 2 months ago. There was no history of trauma, nodular lesions, cough, fever, swelling elsewhere, weight loss or any similar lesion. Personal history was fine. Medical history, surgical history, systemic examination was unremarkable and his general condition was good. Anterior segment examination was unremarkable for both the eyes. In left eye, in conjunctiva, there was a multilobulated bright red, smooth and vascular lesion measuring approximately 5 into 5 into 4 with tortuous dilated and engorged vessels at the base of lesion in the infratemporal region. The lesion was mobile with conjunctiva and it was non-pulsatile. It was not increasing in size with Valsalva maneuver. So this was the lesion. Fundus examination was unremarkable, both eyes. So we did few investigations. We did complete blood count, we did TRIDOT, we did chest X-ray and Muntux, and we did B-scan to rule out any posterior involvement. Provisional diagnosis that we considered in this case was infratemporal subconjunctival cavernous hemangioma of left eye. So management, in many studies a trial of subcutaneous or topical propranolol was given and the lesion has shown regression. So we gave the trial of topical timolol eye drops BD for 2 months, but there was no regression. These are the few studies. One study was published in ophthalmology in German journal, where it stated that beta adenoreceptors are involved in tumor growth and proliferation of new blood vessels. So they have given beta blockers and the lesion has showed regression, but it didn't work in our case. So then we went for surgical excision using no-touch technique under topical anesthesia, and we noted that there was no extension beyond Tenon's capsule. Histopathological examination of the lesion revealed a cavernous hemangioma of the bulbar conjunctiva. This was the image that was acquired 1 day after the excision of lesion, and histopathological evaluation showed multiple blood-filled cavernous spaces surrounded by a fibromyxoid stroma. So the differential diagnosis that we considered in this case was, first is conjunctival capillary hemangioma, that is known as strawberry nevi, but the presentation of capillary hemangioma mostly is in the first 6 weeks of life and it regresses spontaneously. Then we considered conjunctival papilloma, but HPV, but there was no, we couldn't do the pap test, but we thought that it is mostly flat, it has mostly flat base. So then third, we ruled out pyogenic granuloma by doing chest X-ray and Muntux test, and the lesion was not very vascular and didn't bleed on touch. Then fourth we ruled out was lymphangioma, but because there was no deeper orbital component, so we ruled out that, and also it wasn't presenting since birth. Fifth, we ruled out Racim's hemangioma, which is normally associated with Weber-Mason syndrome. And sixth, because it was not increasing in size with Verix, with Valsalva, so we ruled out Verix. This is it.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. Ma'am, do you have any comments? Yeah, all right. It's really nice. It's rare again. So this is kind of an acquired capillary hemangioma, which was not congenital yes. or infantile yes. hemangioma. So when you talk about pyogenic granuloma, it's just a differential diagnosis for the for a discussion. You wrote TB and sarcoidosis in bracket.
Yes.
Why?
Ma'am, because pyogenic granuloma is mostly associated with tuberculosis or sarcoid disease.
No, that is wrong. So first of all, pyogenic granuloma is a misnomer.
Okay.
It's neither pyogenic, neither granulomatous. Okay. Pyogenic granuloma. Pyogenic granuloma is an hyperplastic granulation tissue.
Okay.
Okay. Now granulomas are separate. So that is when you write only granuloma there, then you can think of tuberculosis or sarcoidosis. Okay. I don't know whether it's a typo error, but pyogenic granuloma is a hyperplastic granulation tissue. Usually it happens when there is a hidden foreign body and then there is lots of, even if you leave behind a suture, like a vital suture is remaining there for a long time, you get lot of, granulation tissue around it. Post-surgical, you can have granulation tissue around it. Exactly, so that is pyogenic granuloma. In fact, we should stop using the word pyogenic granuloma. There is no pus there is no granuloma there, okay? Now, when you talk about TB and sarcoidosis, it is granuloma. Okay. Necrotizing granuloma or non-necrotizing granuloma. So just to point out, otherwise excellent presentation. Thank you for sharing.